Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Josie's Point of View, where we focus on human interest stories from the Carolinas and beyond. Today it's Saturday and it's May the 28th, 2022. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, I'd like to extend to you a warm welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you find the information here to be informative. And if you're a returning viewer, by all means, thank you for coming back. You know, I always say the tide changes so frequently here on these YouTube streets, so you always have to acknowledge where your support comes from. And I want you to know I sincerely thank you for your support. Feel free to like and to share this video, and don't forget to subscribe. We're stepping away from the Carolinas for this video, and we're going to be focusing our video in the state of Texas, and more specifically, we're going to be focusing on the Army National Guard. Take a look at the headline. And it reads, Honoring the Life of a Fallen Guardsman, and this is our Memorial Day weekend tribute. I'll provide you with a summary here, and as always, I'll place links to a few of the full articles in the description box. Now, I decided to focus on this case because I don't believe it has received the attention it deserves. In my view, this case is a perfect example of how the military continue to dishonor the memory of fallen service members. We hear about it time and time again. Soldiers are sent to perform specific jobs without having the resources they actually need to function at their best. And when the inevitable happens, when that soldier is killed, the family is left with nothing, not even getting the funds they need from the government for them to have a decent burial for their loved ones, and I think that's rather shameful. And today our story is about this young soldier, 22-year-old Specialist Bishop E. Evans, a resident of Arlington, Texas, and a member of the Texas Army National Guard. Specialist Evans was a field artilleryman serving in the Texas Army National Guard Alpha Battery, the 4th of the 133rd Field Artillery Regiment in New Brunswick, Texas. He graduated from Mansfield High School, where he was an active member of the junior ROTC program. And after high school, he joined the Texas Army National Guard in 2019. Reports said he has had at least one overseas combat deployment. Now, Evans was one of 10,000 of Texas Army National Guard soldiers deployed by Governor Greg Abbott under orders to help secure the Texas-Mexico border. Now, this mobilization was called Operation Lone Star, and the mission had been ongoing since March of 2021. So the members of the National Guard had been doing this job as directed by their leadership for over a year. And this unit was deployed to Eagle Pass, Texas, which is on the U.S.-Mexico border. And one of the biggest challenges and the biggest complaints of conducting this assignment is that the soldiers did not have the equipment needed to properly execute the job. Many felt the assignment was done rather hastily, and for reasons that were unclear, equipment for soldiers were not ordered until this past February, which is 11 months after they had been on this assignment, which makes absolutely no sense. But we'll return to that aspect in a few minutes. And as I already mentioned, the focus of this mission was essentially to protect the borders and to curtail the number of immigrants crossing over into the U.S. each day. Reports said this crossing in itself was quite treacherous, and the number of deaths were vastly underreported. Now, during the month of April, for example, on the U.S. side, there were 11 bodies recovered, and there were 12 recovered on the Mexico side. So that's 23, and that's just the number that they found. So this just attests to the fact that it's a dangerous undertaking. And according to reports, in this particular side of the river, migrants could be seen holding hands and walking across in a human chain. They say the water in itself appears calm at first, but that is very deceiving. And once they begin that journey, it's specifically stated that water rescue was common, which means that on occasion, the National Guard individuals on duty would have to intercede into the water to help those and recover those individuals who are drowning. So now I want to focus on the series of events that took place this past April. It was reported around April the 22nd, about 9 o'clock in the morning. Specialist Evans and his military colleagues were on patrol when they noticed two individuals who were struggling to navigate the swift current They were drowning as they were attempting to cross the border. It was reported by Border Patrol agent that the young soldier put down his rifle, jumped into the water without a flotation device to save those who were in distress. Keep in mind, this was not anything unusual. They had done this many times in the past. One woman survived the ordeal, but unfortunately, a heroic soldier disappeared in the fast-moving waters. He was swept away. And the search for the now missing guardsmen included parties in boats and helicopters. Texas Rangers led the search along with several other state agencies were participating. They were all assisting in their search for this young soldier who eyewitness saw him disappear into the fast-moving river waters. Now, those in authority at the Texas Military Department stated that reports of a downed soldier were false. Even in the midst of eyewitness report that this soldier had disappeared in the waters, they would not validate that there was a river fatality. But after 3 days of searching those treacherous waters, the body of a National Guardsman Special Evans was finally located on the Mexican side of the border. Now, there are photos showing the dignity and the respect that was rendered to this fallen soldier as his body was removed from the waters and transported to the medical examiner's office. When I first saw some of the pictures back in April, it warmed my heart to see how the body, as it was recovered, it was draped in the American flag. It touched my spirit. It touched it in a good way. It brought tears to my eyes. I saw as individuals who stood by was saluting as the body was transported out. And I have to say that I admired the way in which the remains of this fallen soldier was handled. And just for a moment, a small segment of the nation paused to acknowledge this soldier's passing. The military leadership issued a statement which definitely did not seem as sincere as it could have been. Governor Greg Abbott issued a message of condolence, and the message says that he ordered the flag to be lowered at half-staff to honor Texas Guard Specialist Bishop Evans, who died while serving in the line of duty during Operation Lone Star. And I want to focus on the bottom portion of this statement because it's gonna be tested. It says, "This brave young man gave his last full measure of devotion to his state and country. His heroism will never be forgotten." We'll see about that. Now, many congressional delegates also offered words of comfort to the immediate as well as the extended military family of this fallen soldier, and of course, those congressional delegates requested a formal death investigation. And before the body of Specialist Evans was even returned to his family, soldiers started talking about their fears and their concerns. They began to verbalize the risks they were facing every day and the failure of the military to provide them with the basic equipment they needed to execute their jobs. We learned not only did these National Guardsmen and women not have adequate training, we learned they did not even have the most basic of equipment. They did not have simple things such as flotation devices. So you must ask, how is that even possible, especially when you send soldiers to a waters-related mission? We learned that the mission began in March of 2021, but it was in February of this year that equipment was actually ordered 11 months later. 11 months. How the heck is this even possible? So the media began asking those tough questions of the military leadership, specifically as it relates to the acquisition of supplies for that mission. How was it that guardsmen at the border were not provided with basic safety equipment? Now, a spokesperson stated that they had only received 25% of the equipment that was ordered due to issues with the vendor and logistics supply chain. But that probably was not an accurate statement because, as I previously mentioned, they were specifically told that the mission began in March of 2021 and it was in February of 2022, 11 months later, that equipment was actually ordered. Logistic experts were told the media that Texas Military Department sat on many of those requests for flotation devices, which is kind of cruel. They sat on it for many, many weeks before they even approve it. And I think it's shameful. It appears that there was no sense of urgency in maintaining a safe environment for those soldiers. And it appears, it's an epic leadership failure. Now, the representative for that area, Senator Roland Gutierrez, he demanded an inquiry into this death. He also issued a statement saying that the death of this young man was highly avoidable. Through no fault of their own, Congress, Gutierrez stated the National Guard has been ill-prepared to deal with the issues that these young men and women are facing. He further stated that thanks to the action of the present leadership, one of our finest is gone at the young age of 22. So very sad. And this is the point where I want to revisit part of the statement issued by Governor Abbott, in where he said, this brave young man gave his last full measure of devotion to his state and country. His heroism will never be forgotten. And in my way of thinking, there's a certain way that you treat your heroes, right? Well, you would think that with that statement being said, you would think that the funeral plans for this young soldier would be conducted with the highest level of dignity, professionalism, compassion, and respect, but that's not the way things turned out. Well, it appears that someone forgot to pass along those words that Specialist Adams was a hero and that his heroism would not be forgotten, because when it was time to bury this hero, his family was faced with another traumatic and an even more embarrassing series of events. His family was denied burial life insurance. They got nothing, and I was shocked. And here is the reason why. Because Evans was in the National Guard, and Operation Lone Star was a state deployment. And oh my, how tragic for this family, still trying to cope with the untimely death of a loved one. They got nothing. This matter even made its way into one session of the Texas legislative meeting, and the response was the same. There was nothing anyone could do. This matter had been presented in the past, and it was denied. But for now, there would be no change. The only thing anyone can hope for is that it would be addressed at a future legislative session meeting. How devastating. So the grieving and disappointed family our specialist bishop, they worked through their pain, their grief, and I'm sure their financial challenges as they prepared to pay their final respect to this fallen soldier with a celebration of his life on Saturday, April 30th, 2022. And that morning, hundreds of family members, friends, dignitaries, and other well-wishers from the community assembled at his funeral services to help celebrate his life and pay their final respect. Texas Governor Greg Abbott was in attendance that day, and everyone called Specialist Evans a hero. And at his funeral, Bishop Evans was promoted to the rank of sergeant and awarded the Lone Star Medal of Valor for his bravery and sacrifice. Now, I was unfamiliar with this award, so I took a few minutes to go look it up, and this is what I found out. The Lone Star Medal of Valor is also known as the Texas Medal of Valor. It's the second highest military decoration that can be conferred to a service member of the Texas Military Service. This award was simply an honor, and I'm sure family would have preferred that the National Guard men and women that they would have had safety devices and other equipment needed to do their job. Just bestowing the Lone Star Medal of Valor on this fallen soldier was indeed an honor. So history will remember that 22-year-old Sergeant Bishop E. Evans sacrificed his life to help others during Operation Lone Star, and he was awarded the Lone Star Medal of Honor for his bravery and sacrifice. Well done, my friend. I'm not sure where we go from here, but this is definitely proof that laws needs to be changed so that when a soldier is killed, we need to make sure the family is taken care of. It does not make sense that a soldier is called to active duty, he dies in the line of duty, and then the family is told we're not going to give you any money to help you bury your loved ones. And why? Because your loved one was in the National Guard. If that's the case, people should not be even bothering to go into the National Guard at all if this is what you can expect. Now, other active duty soldiers are entitled to this death benefit, but you and your family cannot simply because you were in the National Guard when you were called to active duty. It simply does not make sense, and this is a law that needs to be changed. I just want to mention that my decision to not show any pictures of family members was intentional. And should any of them see this video, I want you to know that I'm sending you my prayers and continued words of condolences. I also want you to know that you were omitted for the right reasons. And it certainly was not a measure of disrespect, because I wanted this video to focus entirely on this fallen service member on this Memorial Day weekend. And so we bid farewell to another fallen warrior whose memory will live on and hopefully serve as a beacon for change to the way other fallen guardsmen are treated when death arrives during an active duty deployment. So Sergeant Bishop E. Evans, your mission is now complete. So rest well, my friend, and thank you for your service. And that's all I have for you right now. Feel free to leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about this video. And by all means, feel free to like it or to share it. And if you haven't done so already, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel by clicking on that red subscribe button. It's on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And if you click on the bell that looks just like this one, that's the notification bell. If you click on that notification bell, you'll be the first to know whenever a new video is uploaded. I thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.